advice that stayed with you long after the moment passed? Recently, while traveling in Italy, our hotel concierge said something I just can't stop thinking about. He looked at us and said, "Remember, you're a traveler, not a tourist." Hi, I'm Crystal Roberts, and I'm co-host of Lifting Leaders podcast. Today, I'm doing a Spark episode, which is a short episode to share some of my thoughts and reflections on lighting the spark. Trisha had a Spark episode a couple of weeks ago, and so if you'd like to hear about her thoughts, her reflections, she focused on superpowers. So back to remembering you're a traveler, not a tourist. This is pretty simple, almost obvious advice, but the more I sat with it, the more I realized this isn't just travel advice. It's leadership advice, and it's really life advice. Because so many of us are moving through our lives like tourists. We're checking the boxes. We're capturing the moments in so many selfies, rushing from one must-see to the next. And in a world that rewards speed, visibility, and constant output, that kind of living is not only common, it's expected, it's rewarded, but it comes at a really high cost. We start to perform our lives instead of actually living them. So what if, to truly light the spark in our leadership and in our lives, we choose something different? What if we choose to be travelers instead? So what's the difference anyway? What's the difference between a tourist and a traveler? A tourist is often focused on performance, capturing the moment. Like I was saying, all those selfies. I was just shocked at what I saw when we were on our trip. We were in Iceland and we were in the middle of a geothermal pool, and more than half the people had their cell phones out taking selfies. I was like, wait, we're swimming. What are you doing here with your camera, taking all those selfies? But that's what people were doing. So capturing the moment, proving that they were there, moving quickly from one highlight to the next. But a traveler is grounded in presence. They're feeling that geothermal warm water. They're smelling maybe the not so great smell of the sulfur. They are listening to the birds that are all around them. They're experiencing the moment. They're engaging with what's right in front of them, letting the experience change them. And I think this distinction matters more than ever for leaders today. Because when we lead like tourists, we skim the surface. But when we lead like travelers, we discover what's possible. And that is where hope begins. Let me share a few things I learned both in Italy and in leadership. The first thing is to slow down enough to actually see. Travelers don't push past everything. And we also recognize that we can't see it all. They pause. They notice. As leaders, this might mean putting your phone down in a meeting, listening fully instead of thinking about your response, not documenting the moment, but actually being in it. Because you can't lead what you don't see, and you can't see if you're always rushing. Number 2, get off the beaten path. Tourists go where everyone else goes. Travelers wander. One of our most wonderful days was spending time in Venice, just wandering the streets, seeing all the beautiful colors. It was springtime and there were new flowers, and seeing people's laundry fluttering in the breeze. Some of our most extraordinary moments happen when we step outside the usual agenda. We ask a different question. We explore an idea no one else is talking about. In leadership, innovation doesn't live on the main road. It lives just beyond it. 3, shift your timing. In Venice, we learned quickly if you go when everyone else goes, you get the crowds. But if you get up early or stay just a little bit later, you experience something completely different. One of my favorite memories is walking St. Mark's Square, where there had been huge crowds during the day. We returned just at sunset, and the building, which we had not recognized before, was actually covered in what looked like gold, and it was just shining, and it was absolutely stunning. And if we had not come back during that time, we couldn't have experienced this really beautiful moment. Leadership is the same. Sometimes it means creating a space to think before reacting, choosing when to engage, not just reacting to everything, finding quiet moments to reflect instead of staying in constant motion. Different timing creates different perspective. We can see different things. Number 4, talk to locals. Our concierge gave us the best advice of the entire trip. Not Google, not a guidebook, a person. Travelers ask, they engage, they listen. As leaders, who are your locals? The people closest to the work, the voices you don't always hear, the perspectives that challenge your assumptions. If you want to know the real story, talk to the people living in it. 5, wander with curiosity. Travelers don't need a perfectly mapped plan. They let curiosity lead. What if, as leaders, we allow ourselves to ask more what if questions? Follow energy instead of just obligation. Explore without needing immediate answers. Curiosity is where the spark begins. And curiosity is also what allows us to see possibility. I love the phrase, I wonder. One of our favorite memories of the trip was when we just followed our curiosity about a path that we just came upon. And we saw a small lemon tree. And then we went a little farther and we saw a couple more lemon trees. And before we knew it, there was a whole grove of beautiful lemon trees. And then we kept climbing and we saw an olive grove. And we went a little farther and we found this beautiful rock staircase. And then we kept going and we came out of the trees and there was this beautiful view. And we never would have seen that beautiful view had we not kept going. And we got to see all the beauty along the way. And that was just from curiosity. I wonder what's around the corner. I wonder what's a little farther on. And our curiosity helps us even when the path ahead isn't clear. Number 6, rest and relish. And maybe this is the most important. Travelers rest. They sit at the cafe. They savor the meal. They take it in. Because rest isn't wasted time. It's what fuels the next experience. As leaders, when we don't pause, we lose perspective, we drain our energy, and we miss meaning. Rest is not a reward. We don't have to earn it. It's a requirement. And it's often in those moments of rest that hope quietly returns. So here's the question that I've been sitting with. Where in your life are you being a tourist instead of a traveler? Where am I trading productivity for depth and meaning? Where are you performing instead of being present? Rushing instead of noticing? Following instead of exploring? Consuming instead of connecting? And what might change if you chose to travel differently? Here's your Carry the Spark challenge for this week. Choose one moment in your day. just one, and decide to be a traveler. Put your phone away. Ask an unexpected question. Take a different path. Stay a little longer in a conversation, or simply pause and notice what's around you. Another beautiful memory for me was when we were in Iceland and we were able to see the Northern Lights. And our guide was so helpful because we would get so immersed looking in one direction. And they would say, look to your left, look to your right, now turn around. And there were the Northern Lights dancing all around us. Small shifts in how we show up can open the door to entirely new possibilities. Remember, you don't have to go to Italy or Iceland to become a traveler. You can choose it right where you are. And when you do, you don't just experience more. You notice more. You connect more. You lead with greater presence. And in that presence, you don't just find the spark. You become someone who carries it for yourself, for others, and for what's possible. Thank you for joining me today for this Spark episode. Remember, leadership begins with intention, is sustained by hope, and comes alive through action. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who could use a spark today. Together, we can light the way and lead the change. We hope you'll keep listening because we have more exceptional podcast episodes coming up with more fantastic guests. So be sure to subscribe to Lifting Leaders Podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. If you're looking for help in developing your leaders or would like a growth opportunity yourself, please contact us through our website at www.liftingleaderspodcast.com. Thank you to Ari Chance Roberts for his technical support of our show. Finally, please take 30 seconds to follow us. It helps you because you never miss an episode, and it helps us because you never miss an episode. To follow us, go to the Lifting Leaders Podcast show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow. While you're there, if you'd be willing to give us a 5-star rating and review and share the episode with a friend, we'd be so grateful. Many thanks to you, our listeners. We so appreciate you. Thanks for coming back every week. Until next time, keep lifting leaders.